Worthy ones, do you feel you're not good enough? What's up, it's Gene, this word to be great. Let's be real about something. A lot of us are not taking action after the things we want because we don't believe we're good enough. We tell ourselves every day the things we want, but deep down inside, we do not believe we are worthy. And as long as you feel you're not good enough, as long as you feel you're unworthy, you will never go after the things that you desire in life. So in this video, I want to talk to you about how to reprogram your mind so you can overcome your feeling of not being good enough. So let me give you 5 things you can use. 1, first you have to discover where your feeling of not being good enough rooted from. See, a lot of you guys know this already. I said a million times on this channel that my feeling of not being good enough came from when my daddy left when I was 11 years old, 2 weeks after he looked me in my eyes and told me he would never leave the family. And that right there was the root cause of my lack of confidence, my lack of self-esteem, my lack of self-worth, and that's why I did not believe I was good enough to have any success in my life. And if you want to overcome your feeling of not being good enough, you have to know what is the root of it, where it came from. You have to sit down and self-assess and be real with yourself. And when you self-assess, it will help you to become self-aware. So ask yourself again, or ask yourself for the first time, why do I feel I'm not good enough? Because once you discover that, you can move to 2. And that is figuring out what are your common gnats. Now, what I mean by gnats are N-A-T-S, your common negative automatic thoughts. You see, a lot of us, we have thoughts that pop up in our mind anytime we try to go after something we want. We want to be successful at something, but then we have to deal with those gnats, those negative automatic thoughts. And those thoughts are fueling that feeling of not being good enough. You see, the gnats I had to deal with, which was my most common thought, was that I could not be successful because I was a black male growing up in the hood without a father. Now, when I think about that today, it sounds ridiculous. But at the time, that's what I believed. Anytime I wanted to do something in life to have some success, I had to deal with this gnat. I had to deal with this negative automatic thought, and it will keep me in one spot. And see, you have to know what your gnats are. What are your most common negative automatic thoughts? When you try to go after that dream, when you try to realize that goal, what is the common thoughts that you think of that keep you from pursuing it? And until you deal with those gnats, they will always conquer you in your mind. So that's why it's very important that you understand the root of your feeling of not being good enough, because that root will lead to those gnats. 3, once you have discovered those gnats, you have to start using the reframing technique. So what is the reframing technique? The reframing technique is when you take a negative thought and you reframe it into a positive, empowering thought. For example, I told you that my most common gnat was I was a black male growing up in the hood without a father, and that's why I couldn't be successful, right? So that dominated my mind for a while. So what I did is I used the reframing technique, and I took that gnat as well as others, and I combined them into a powerful affirmation. So let me tell you what the affirmation is. I was raised in a single parent home because my father left when I was 11 years old. We were poor, but I didn't let welfare define me or confine me to poverty. Instead, it inspired me, and that's why I stand with confidence today. You see, the reframing technique allowed me to create this powerful affirmation. I used the affirmation in college, when I was in the corporate world. I still use it today. And if you want to overcome your feeling of not being good enough, you have to start reprogramming your mind. And one of the ways you can do so is through the reframing technique. So whatever your common gnats are, I want you to take those gnats and create your own empowering affirmation that you can use on a daily basis so you can make sure that you don't allow those feelings of not being good enough to continue to run your life. 4, another technique you can use is called mental filtering. So what is mental filtering? It is when you decide to focus on the positive things you believe about yourself. You see, a lot of us, we spend so much of our lives focuses on the negative things we believed about ourselves, then that's why we feel we're not good enough. Now you can change that and start focusing on the positive things. See, you have the power to reprogram your mind so you can overcome those feelings of not being good enough. And if you use this mental filtering technique to only focus on the positive things you want to believe about yourself, when you have those negative thoughts that pop up, instead of you going down the path of focusing on those thoughts, instead you focus on the positive things about yourself. And what's going to happen over time is you're going to start to believe in yourself, you're going to start to believe in the gifts that you have, and you start to believe that you're worthy of the success you desire. 5, another positive technique that you can use to reprogram your mind so you can overcome that feeling of not being good enough is fortune telling. Now, fortune telling is one of my favorites. And what it is when you predict the positive future that you're going to have and you believe that is true. For example, I have a prediction on my life that I'm going to be one of the top speakers in the world. And I believe this is going to be my reality. And because of that prediction, I feel that I'm worthy. That's why I make these videos. That's why I write books. That's why I go practice at night. Because I use the fortune telling technique to tell myself what my future is going to be like. And I believe it with all my heart. And if you want to overcome your feeling of not being good enough, you have to reprogram your mind. And fortune telling is a great technique that can help you to do so. So I want to encourage you to fortune tell about your own life. Tell yourself about the great future you're going to have. Write it down every day if you have to remind yourself. And to believe it with all your heart despite what you may feel. Because what's going to happen over time is the more you believe in that future, the more you will work towards it, the more you will believe that it'll be your reality. And before you know it, just like in my life, your dream will come true. These are the 5 ways that you can reprogram your mind so you can overcome your feeling of not being good enough. And I want to encourage you to apply these to your life so you can develop the confidence and the self-worth to go after your dream. Because you are worthy to be great. If you like this video, I want to ask you to like and share this video. Also, hit that bell so anytime I post a new video, you are notified. Also, want to ask you to join my Word to Be Great newsletter. This newsletter is designed to help you build your self-worth, your self-confidence, and your self-discipline so you can realize your dreams. So click the link below and join my newsletter today.